Hi everyone, I'm Stephen Cross. I'm from the Wolfson Bioimaging Facility at the University of Bristol. And today we're going to go a bit inception, and it's a video on making videos. So obviously over the last year or so there's been this massive push to working from home and remote learning. And certainly what this means for us in the bioimaging facility is that we're taking our previously in-person taught courses in things like ImageJ and Cell Profiler and recording videos of the lectures and exercise sessions and then putting those onto YouTube, as well as putting all of our taught materials onto our GitHub page. And of course there are a bunch of different ways that you can record videos and get them onto YouTube. I'm sure many very good paid for pieces of software. However, today I'm going to be talking about the workflow that I use. So this is using two pieces of open source software. The first one for doing the screen recording and audio recording synchronized is Open Broadcaster software. So this is OBS Studio. There's a link to that in the description below, and hopefully you'll also be seeing the web page on the screen at the moment. And then also the second piece of software is called Shotcut, and this is for taking all the little bits of video fragments, stitching them together, adding in transitions, editing out things like ums, ahs, coughs, and so on. And also you can add in different bits like, for example, the screenshot that you're seeing at the moment, that's edited in using Shotcut. And in fact, as part of this video, what I'm going to do is demonstrate editing the first half of this video in Shotcut. So yeah, going even further down the rabbit hole of Inception. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is open up a copy of OBS Studio and just configure it for our recording. So I get this message when I launch OBS just because I've already got a copy running that I'm using to record this video. And in fact I'm just going to edit this so that it's more like what you'll see first time round. So this is the kind of default OBS Studio interface. You've got this box up here which will show what is either actively recording or what is going to be recorded. You can use this to shuffle around the different sources, because you can record from multiple sources simultaneously, as I'll show in a sec. Then you've got these boxes for controlling a few things. So really just, if all we're interested in is just recording kind of what's on screen, maybe having a live video capture picture-in-picture style, then actually all we need to do is just change a couple of settings. So for the sources here, you click the plus, and like I said, there's a bunch of different inputs that you can have, but just to do the full display capture, you just click this here. You can obviously give it a name if you want. I'm not going to, but you can. And then you select the display. So if you've got a multi-display configuration, you'll see them all listed out here. Mine's actually only running at 720p just for performance reasons of effectively running two copies of OBS Studio simultaneously. So that's great, and like I say, that will, when we hit start record, record the full screen that you're seeing here, so that's why that's dancing around. I know that some people also like to have that kind of picture-in-picture, so showing for an active webcam. So to do that, you just click plus again, and you can effectively layer all of these different things. So video capture device, and in this case it's just going to default to my webcam. So I click OK there, and I can resize this, move it around as I wish, and then when I get recording, that's just going to record and superimpose over whatever's actively being shown on the screen. So yeah, that's great. And then over here we've got the audio channel. So mine's just using again the microphone attached to that webcam. You can just click the little cog icon there and then change that if you want. So for me, yes, this is Logitech Pro 9000. There are some additional settings that you can change, although to be honest, I think the defaults from when you download this off the internet are probably adequate. The only ones that might need changing are your encoder. So the graphics card I've got has got onboard HD encoding, which makes a massive improvement. If you don't have one, if you don't have a graphics card capable of that, it will be stuck with software encoding. So you might find that hitting 30 frames a second will be difficult depending on the specification of your computer. You can also set like default save locations and also recording quality. You can also change scaling for the output video. So again, for me, this was defaulting to 1080p, but because I've set the entire system now to 720p, I had to knock those down as well. And then to record, you just hit the start recording button here, and it will automatically start saving to that file that you've got set up. And then when you do, so I'll do it quickly, but it will, slow the whole video down. So that's doing now, and then click stop recording, and that automatically saves the file. Okay, so at this point we've gone through our presentation or whatever it is that we want to make the video for, and we've got X number of video fragments, or maybe just a single video take, but with things that you want to edit in it. So like I say, removing coughs and splutters, or maybe adding in some additional slides that appear like single shot images. So we go to the output folder from OBS Studio, which for me is here. I recorded the sort of OBS element of this in two sections. So the first bit here is the introduction, where I was talking about just OBS and Shotcut, and then the second video here is where I was doing that live demo of OBS. And it's these two videos we're going to edit together as part of the Shotcut demonstration. So we need to open a copy of Shotcut, and it looks a little bit squashed together because my computer's running in 720p still, but usually in 1080p or higher it'll look nice and spaced out. So I set the projects folder to this video folder that I've got here, select folder, and then it's just a case of dragging in the first video that I want in my timeline. So I'll pause that, but what it does is it automatically opens it up in this preview window, where you can play the whole lot if you want, like this. You can move the time slider like this and get them onto YouTube. I'm sure, potentially hear it playing in the background through my speakers. You can do some crude editing of start and end points for what is going to be imported into the timeline, but unless you're getting rid of massive chunks at the beginning. So say maybe you know that for that video you started recording and then gave up after 2 minutes and then started again, but without restarting OBS Studio. You could get rid of that by changing this start arrow to the point at which you want the video to start. And similarly, if you've got a load of stuff at the end that you want to get rid of, you can move that. And then when you click the plus button here to append it to the current timeline, it would just import this blue region here. But this is a little bit crude in terms of cutting the video down. Using the timeline controls, we're going to have a much more kind of fine grain ability to get rid of the start and end. So I'm just going to, for now, import the entire thing. So I do that by clicking the plus, and you see it appears here in this timeline view, which has a scroll bar there. And as we start adding in different pictures or different videos, like obviously the next video, that one's just going to get appended onto the end there, and we can crop these down as necessary. You can also change the zoom or the magnification on this. So obviously if you've got a very long video and you just kind of want to get to an approximate location, you can zoom out. Or similarly, if you want to zoom in on a region because you want to cut out maybe some ums and ahs, like mute it for a small region of the video, you can do that here by zooming in. And this light blue section at the bottom, that is just the audio trace or an approximation of. So I'm going to do it like this. And the first thing I want to do is actually get rid of this bit of video here at the very start, where I'm in my primary copy of OBS Studio, the one I was doing or am using to record these videos. And I just want to start at the point where I've got my kind of title screen. So I can just drag around in this section here to quickly change where the video is. And you can actually hear it does play a bit of the audio, which probably just sounds very juddery. You can press spacebar on the keyboard or the play button here. So there's been this massive push to work, and that plays the video. And of course you can zoom in. So what I'm going to do is, looking at this, I can see that rise there is me saying hello. Hi everyone. So I probably want to have a few seconds before that, before I say anything. So if I put the timeline here, I can see that this happened at 3 seconds or 3.45 seconds into the video. So maybe I just want a second before that. So if I go to about 2.5 seconds, that's going to be my start. So what I want to do there is just split the video so I can get rid of this section. And that's done using this split at playhead. So all that's going to do is just divide this single continuous video into two at this line here. And you can see now, as I'm selecting them, they're individual. and I just use minus to get rid of that one. And that's automatically shifted the other bit down to the left. So now when I click spacebar, hi everyone, I'm Stephen Creel. That's quite a nice start. Now, one thing I might want to do is just remove any background noise. So you can kind of see from the trace here, there's a couple of little blips, probably as I'm just clicking around and moving my mouse. So what I'm going to do is again actually split the video here, select this one, and then I'm just going to mute this because there's no need for any sound there. So what I do is I go into filters on the left hand side here, click plus, and then in fact in the favorite section there is mute. There's also audio with some more sections here, so click mute, and that's just muted this video here now. Obviously it won't make much difference when we're playing it. So as I play this through, I might find that there are other sections that I want to edit out. Let's say our GitHub page. Let's say, yeah, so I was talking about in the video how we record these and put them on YouTube, and then I mentioned about GitHub. And maybe I go, well, actually, for the purpose of this video, no one cares that we're putting the resources onto GitHub. So what I'd do is I'd find this and just play it through until I get to the end of me talking about uploading it to YouTube, and then I'm going to split it just before I talk about GitHub. Sessions, and then putting those onto YouTube, as well as putting all of, so that'd be about here where I say, as well as putting them onto GitHub, as well as putting all of. So what I do is I select that, split the video again, and then I just want to scroll to the end of where I finished talking about GitHub, onto our GitHub page, which is there. And again, just using this audio trace makes this really easy. So I'm going to put that there, again split, so this section here, and then just minus it out, and then you can see the two have just joined together. It's filled in that gap or removed that gap. So now if we play this, it will just go through. And then putting those onto YouTube. And of course there are a bunch of different ways that you can record videos and get them onto YouTube. Okay, so that's that. And now I want to do kind of the same as what I did earlier, but at the end of the video. So there's some stuff here where I'm clicking around in my primary copy of OBS Studio, which I don't want everyone watching the video to see because it just confuses matters. So first things first, what I'm going to do is just show you OBS Studio. Okay, so actually what happened here was I was going to do a single take talking about OBS Studio, but then messed it up. So right here, which is where I finished talking just the introduction, and then before I start talking about OBS Studio, I'm just going to introduce another split and then subtract that one off. So now that introduction section is all completely done. The next thing I want to do is include the second video here, so I just drag that one in. So this is now the one where I'm doing the live demo of recording in OBS. So again, I could trim down the beginning and ends of this, although I personally find just popping it straight onto the end here to be the easier solution, because then you can really zoom in on those. Again, coming in here. So actually this one's a lot quicker. I just went straight from recording, clicks, and now I'm going to start talking about going into OBS. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is open, again, getting rid of this, click split, minus that one out. And now if we watch this video through, it's going to finish the introduction and go straight into my live demo of OBS. So yeah, going even further down the rabbit hole of Inception. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is open up a copy of OBS Studio and just configure it. So that's good. And similarly, you're just going to trim out the very last bit at the end there, and then click stop recording, and that automatically saves the file. So maybe I just want to leave it there where I've clicked stop recording. So again, split and remove. Then the final thing that maybe I want to do is to actually replace, when I'm talking about OBS or Shotcut in that introduction, maybe I want to get rid of the live capture and superimpose on the screenshots that I actually mentioned in the intro. So to do this, I need to get the screenshots. So I'll go here and then OBS Studio, And then I'm just going to maximize this. Okay, so print screen, that'll do, and then I'll exit out that, and I'll just go into Paint, put that in there. There we go, and I'm just going to save that as a PNG. So videos, video, and I'll just call it obs.png. Similarly, I'm going to do the same thing with Shotcut. Full screen. So now we've got the screenshots that we need. What we want to do is be able to actually insert them into the video so that they appear rather than the live video capture. To do this, or the way I do this, is to right click here and then insert video track or add video track. And you can see that's popped up on top, so taking precedence. Next thing I need to do before popping the video in is just figuring out whereabouts I start talking about OBS. And Blue Peter style, I know that it's roughly around here. I think it's actually at this gap here where I start talking about OBS, is Open Broadcaster software. Perfect. So, much in the same way as we were with the videos, we just take our screenshot, drag it in there, and then click plus, and that actually inserts it back at 0. So if I just zoom out, I know from my tests that that's around 50 seconds in. So now I can zoom back in, and I think it's in line with this. So what I want to do is just drag that so that it starts about there. So now when we're playing this, we've got our live capture of the display, audio recording synchronized, is Open Broadcaster software. So this is OBS Studio. There's a link to that in the description below, and hopefully you'll also be seeing the web page on the screen at the moment. So that's where I finished talking about it. So I also want to drag out, I want to drag this to about there. So that now will disappear when I finish talking about OBS on the screen at the moment. And then also the second piece of software is called Shotcut. So I then start talking about Shotcut, so it's just repeating the same process here. Again, plus, and that actually has inserted it straight after the other. So all I need to do is just drag that over. But then I'll probably stretch that out to about here, which I think will be about where I finished talking about this. Demonstrate editing the first half of this video in Shotcut. So there we go, yeah, so that goes to about there. So ultimately that's it in terms of assembling a very basic video. But for example, if we wanted to look a bit more at filters, we could, for example, fade in these overlays. So what we do is we just click in the filter section, the plus, then go to fade in video. So as we play in this, what you'll see is it will fade in the first section. And audio recording synchronized is Open Broadcaster. And you can change the rate of that, so that was relatively quick. You could also make it very slow. And audio recording, what you'll notice, synchronized, but what you'll notice is software. So this is OBS Studio. What you'll notice is it fades from black. So instead, we just click adjust opacity instead of fade with black. So then what we'll do is we'll get this transition between our main slide or our main video capture into the overlay. Obviously, that's absurdly slow. So if we were to do that, we would have that maybe just at, you know, half a second or so. That's nice. And again, the same is true just at the end, so fade out, fade video out. And it will also automatically fade audio, although the thing we're fading here doesn't have any associated audio since it's simply a picture. And yeah, that's it from an assembly point of view. The next thing we want to do is to just export this to a video format. So if you go export video here, I tend to just use the H.264, H.264 main profile. I personally don't know the difference between all of these. There are literally hundreds of them, it seems. You just click export file. I'll put that into my video folder here, and then I'll call it final or something a bit more intelligent. And then that will start exporting. which can take maybe an hour or two depending on the length of the video. But once it's done, that will go green and your video will be saved into the relevant folder. Okay, so that wraps everything up. Hope you found this video useful. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me at the email link or via my GitHub. Cheers.